a beautiful island surrounded by crystal clear waters, claimed by two of Asia's most powerful nations. The Philippines says it's theirs. China says it's always been part of their territory. But who really owns this island? This isn't just a debate over a few rocks in the ocean. It's a conflict involving international law, billion-dollar fishing grounds, natural resources, powerful militaries, and the livelihood of everyday fishermen. And it could shape the future of peace in Southeast Asia. This is the story of Scarborough Shoal, or as Filipinos call it, Bajo de Masinloc. The Philippines argues that Scarborough Shoal has always been part of Filipino territory. Filipino fishermen have used the area for centuries. Spanish maps from the colonial era list it as part of Philippine waters. When the US took over after the Spanish-American War, they included the shoal in Philippine territory. And when the Philippines became independent, Scarborough was passed on. China, on the other hand, says Scarborough has been part of its territory since ancient times. They cite records dating back to the Yuan dynasty, 1279-1368, claiming that Chinese fishermen discovered and named the area. In modern times, China included it in their infamous 9-dash line, a vague boundary covering almost the entire South China Sea. Scarborough Shoal isn't exactly a paradise. There are no luxury resorts, no sandy beaches, no native people. It's a triangle-shaped reef made up of small rocks and coral. During low tide, parts of it are above water. During high tide, it mostly disappears beneath the waves. But what it lacks in beauty, it makes up for in importance. It sits just 124 nautical miles west of Luzon, the largest island in the Philippines. That makes it well within the exclusive economic zone, EEZ of the Philippines, under international law. But here's the twist, China also claims it, and they're not the only ones. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all have overlapping claims in the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea. Why? Because this body of water is a geopolitical gold mine. Let's put this in perspective. 1/3 of all global shipping passes through the South China Sea. That's over $3 trillion worth of goods every year. The region is rich in fish, natural gas, and oil. Control of the sea means control of trade routes, energy resources, and military positioning. So even a tiny shoal like Scarborough represents much bigger stakes. And for Filipinos, it's not just about oil or territory. It's about access to traditional fishing grounds that have sustained coastal communities for generations. In 2012, things got tense. The Philippine Navy tried to inspect Chinese fishing boats in Scarborough Shoal. Chinese Coast Guard ships showed up. A standoff began. After weeks of rising tensions, a deal was supposedly brokered. Both sides would withdraw, but only the Philippines did. China stayed. They placed surveillance ships around the area. Filipino fishermen were blocked. Some were even blasted with water cannons. So the Philippines did something historic. They took China to court. International Court. In 2013, the Philippines filed a case at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. 3 years later, in 2016, the tribunal ruled overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines. It declared China has no historical claim to the South China Sea. The 9-dash line, the boundary China uses to claim nearly the entire sea, has no legal basis. Scarborough Shoal falls within the Philippine EEZ. It was a landmark win for the Philippines, but there was one problem. The court has no power to enforce its ruling. China refused to participate in the case, and when the verdict came out, they simply said, "We don't recognize it." This isn't just about who can fish where. This is about sovereignty, the right of a country to govern its territory without interference. It's about national dignity, defending what generations of Filipinos have considered home. It's also about natural resources. Scarborough Shoal and the broader West Philippine Sea are rich in marine life, crucial for food security and livelihoods. But it's not just fish. Underneath the seabed, oil and gas, billions of dollars worth. The area could help the Philippines achieve energy independence if properly developed. In the last few years, Scarborough Shoal has become one of the most volatile flashpoints in Southeast Asia. Filipino fishermen who once depended on these waters now face intimidation. Chinese Coast Guard ships patrol the area daily. In some cases, they've used water cannons, military-grade lasers, and steel barriers to block Filipino boats. There are even videos showing Filipino supplies being seized or dumped at sea. In 2023 and 2024, incidents escalated, with drone footage, radio recordings, and first-hand testimonies shared with the global media. The Philippine government filed dozens of diplomatic protests. International allies like the United States, Japan, Australia, and the EU issued statements of support. Joint naval patrols between the Philippines and its allies have even resumed, sending a clear message. So, who really owns this island? Legally, the Philippines. Historically and geographically, the Philippines. But in practice, it's complicated. China's ships are there. Their influence is strong. Their intentions still uncertain. But for millions of Filipinos, Scarborough Shoal is not just about territory. It's about identity, history, and the fight to be heard. Because in the end, it's not just about rocks in the ocean. It's about who gets to write the story of the future and who has the courage to stand up for it. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from Southeast Asia and beyond.